Aloreing is a comedy folklore podcast where your hosts Kimmy and Ryan discuss the history and sightings of different lore from around the world. We laugh at many parts of these legends, but we would never laugh at the rich cultures that we explore or the cultural significance of the lore we discuss. We encourage additional research on these topics since our focus is on the lore more than the facts. This podcast also contains graphic and explicit content that may not be suitable for young listeners. Listener discretion is advised.
Hey everyone, my name's Kimmy, and I'm here with my co-host Ryan.
What's up, guys? Welcome back to Aloreing, our folklore podcast, where we tell you the stories and legends of different lore from around the world.
Oh, I was like, did I lose him already? That's the joys of recording online is that constant fear of, did the signal die? Is the internet
everything
gone? Everything all the time. Well, Ryan, tell me your alluring thing this week.
So I found out that I'm going to be an uncle, which is all I've really ever wanted in life. So very exciting. I've already got, for our viewers, I'm already rocking the uncle fit.
Yes!
I bought jorts and a bunch of old 90s band t-shirts, so I'm ready. Like, I feel like that's 90% of it's the outfit.
Oh my god, congrats. I am so happy for
Thank
you.
Yeah.
Uncle Ant life is the best life ever.
It seems like it. It's just all of the it's all of the like fun parts of a kid with none of the dealing with having a kid.
Yep. The amount of fun ants memes I send to my sister-in-law where she's like, "Oh, it is you." And I'm like, "That's right. It is me."
Mm-hmm.
That's so awesome. Well,
I can't wait to be the cool uncle.
You need a fanny pack now though. That's what you need.
Oh, I've got Kimmy, do you know how many fanny packs I got in college? Just them giving out fanny packs. You designed them. You should know.
I was gonna say, I'm like, do you have any that I've designed? Because I don't have any of them in my portfolio, and I was like, damn, I wish I had like
confident
the 90s
I do.
dance one. You probably do.
Yeah. I have just a box of old like college stuff at my parents' house. I'll go through it and see what I can find for you.
Oh my gosh, yes. I made some.
I'll be rocking those daily.
Please do. I am so hyped. That is gonna be adorable. When are they expecting the little kid?
December-ish, so Christmas is gonna get real expensive.
Yeah, it is. I always like to try to be like,
what is December? Is that a
like the 25th? It could be a Capricorn, or if it's a little after, it'll be a Sagittarius. I don't think we know.
It's early December.
Yeah, so early. Let me see. You guys, I love astrology. This is like my favorite thing. Yeah, so it would be a Sagittarius if it's early December. So like 21st is the cutoff.
Oh, okay.
I don't think we know any Capricorns off the top of my head. One of the kids in our D&D group is a Sagittarius though. So that's really fun. I don't want to say his name on air.
My roommate's a Capricorn.
You may have a
His birthday is the day after Christmas.
Yeah, that's a Capricorn. I don't know. Anyway, that is exciting. I think they are both very fun signs. I think Sagittarius are pure beautiful chaos. So, but I'm a Pisces and I always love a Sagittarius. So I'm biased. It's the Neptune placement. Anyway, woo! Sorry, I'm like diving.
What did you find alluring this week?
So,
We'll do a
I have
full
another-
episode in December.
where Kimmy
signs.
deep dives.
Yeah.
If you guys want to hear me rant about astrology, please let me know, because I will. I'll tell you everything, and I mean everything. Okay, so anyway, my Aloreing thing is I scared myself again, but it's funny.
Classic.
So classic Kimmy, am I right? Scaring myself like always. So I don't know if it's been because I've been playing a lot more spooky games lately, or if it is because I've been doing more spooky folklore research for like our future stuff, or I've been on a murder mystery podcast kick, which is always very good for my mental health. So anyway, any of those reasons could be why, but Edgar and I were in bed, and I woke up. It was like 3 a.m, because I always have to wake up at 3 a.m, and I hate it. And I was so thirsty. So I'm tired. I can't see 3 feet in front of me. And I am like, okay, I'm just going to get out of bed, and I'm going to go downstairs and get some water. And how our bed is set up is it's against the wall. So I lay against the wall, and he's like by the floor. So I have to kind of like climb around him. And I get up to get a drink. I like step off my bed, and I look over, and I see what looks like the shadow of my parents' dead dog sitting on the floor. And I quietly and calmly on the outside went immediately back to the bed. I like put a foot down, pulled it back up, went back to the bed, went behind Edgar, and I don't know how I was so calm. I like gently shook him, and I was like, hey, Edgar, I think a dog got in our house, and I'm trying not to freak out. Can you please wake up? And he woke up, and he looked at me, and he looked over, and I could tell he was scared for a second, and then he squinted his eyes, and he laughed, and he was like, that's your Bulbasaur plushie. And I was like, because it's a life-size Bulbasaur plushie. And I was like, oh, because I never leave anything out on the floor at night. And he just like was so sweet. And he's like, just go get some water and get back to bed. I'm like, oh, and I grabbed it and I like threw it across the room. I was so mad.
Jeez.
And it's just because I can't see far away either. I was so pissed off. I was so mad. And the next morning, he's like, you were really calm about it, though. And I'm like, because I didn't want to freak out the dog if there was a dog in the house. Anyway, that's my fun Aloreing thing.
Been playing too much Slenderman.
I'm over that game already.
So,
it's fine.
Depending on which order these episodes come out, this is like 2 weeks in a row now that you think your house is haunted.
Pretty much. It's going to be one way or the other. You're going to hear 2 spooky stories. Jeez. You guys, I love scary, but my little heart can't take it sometimes. But what it can handle at this moment in time is some alien folklore. So, you ready to hear my Aloreing story? This week?
Let's jump right into it.
Hell yeah. Okay. So, whether you are in the deepest forest or the most vacant desert, if you witness a UFO or an ominous extraterrestrial encounter, chances are that this group of people already have you on their radar. Upon witnessing something otherworldly, you'll find a black vehicle rolling up to your home or office the following day. Then, 2 to 3 people dressed in all black suits will come out of the car looking for you. These people are there for one purpose, and that's to muzzle you of the strange extraterrestrial encounters you have just experienced. This week, I will be discussing the Men in Black. The connections of them to the history of aliens is super fascinating. Plus, I thought it'd be a fun little thing because of what Ryan is going to discuss. So we got some more spooky folklore because I love to scare myself and it's super great. So physical appearance. Oh, that's so funny. I want to explain it, but I just realized that I did 2 characters that dress the same for 2 episodes in a row.
Yeah, they're literally just less tall Slendermen.
Yeah, that's pretty much all they are. Whew, okay, cool. I need to do like merfolk after this or something to cleanse my palate.
There you go.
Okay, so physical appearance. If you ever see the Men in Black in person, you'll notice they're typically in a group of 2 or 3, driving around in a black vehicle that's either a car or a SUV. It's important to note that the vehicles have kind of like a strange appearance to them where they're really old, but they look like they were made currently, if that makes sense. Like, it doesn't look like it was updated or rebuilt. It just looks like an old car made in our timeline, if that makes sense. But they are also known for their iconic look of a black suit with sunglasses and black hats. Some reports have said that they wear a black Kevlar vest and a black helmet instead of a suit. There have also been reports of women part of the organization, but they are rarely seen. And even though they are human-like, the Men in Black are known for having a strange appearance and to move slightly robotically. They sometimes have supernatural features of glowing eyes that don't blink, are almost translucent skin, and they have hair, and it's known for being jet black when they do. And something really strange is their face seems flawless. Like there's no visible blemishes or wrinkles on it, which is gross. Ugh. But Maybelline
Sounds
must
exactly
love
like
them.
Slenderman.
It does. I did the same character apparently twice in a row. Maybe they are Slenderman? Gross. Okay, I don't even want to think of that. That makes me uncomfortable. Okay, so let me tell you about how these men, sometimes women, will act. So the Men in Black aren't known for their delightful personalities. They typically have a blank or threatening expression on their face. They also have what seems to be like otherworldly behaviors, like not understanding the purpose of a pen or using utensils. A witness reported that they didn't know how to use a fork and a knife, so a waiter had to come and cut their food, and when they did get their food cut, they just swallowed it whole and wouldn't even chew it. And they also have been reported to drink Jell-O instead of eating it.
Is that not how normal people eat Jell-O? You don't just kind of slurp it down?
Well, if it's a Jell-O shot, I would assume so. Ryan, do you have something to tell us? Are you part of the Men in Black?
As you can tell by my flawless complexion and deep black hair, I am a man in black.
For Patreon, can you
episode.
For Patreon, can you zoom in on your face and do the do 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 sound and put like the hat?
Just a PNG of a hat.
Yeah, not even photoshopped right either. You see some of the pixels around it.
Yep. Done.
Done. That's what you guys get for watching us on Patreon. You get this pure chaos of inspiration. So, a little bit more about their personalities. They aren't around to chit chat about what has happened. They are very straight to the point. So they will come, get the information they need, and will leave. So what is the quote? Get that bread, get that head, and leave is a really good motto for them to go by. And before leaving, they will make sure, peace out. That's it. And they will make sure that they would threaten you and anyone that has witnessed it into silence. And that includes threatening your family or your children or even your dog, because that's just their personality. So not too charming.
Yeah.
And oh, the lag's bad today. I'm so sorry. I feel like I keep cutting you off. Okay. So the history. So it's unknown for just how long the Men in Black have been around, but due to an event that occurred on June 27th in 1947, they became known in the public eye, and conspiracies of UFOs eventually braked into the mainstream and pop culture. Of course, there were multiple sightings about the Men in Black prior to this date, but this was the tipping point, and everyone came out and reported their past experience and sightings, and that's when all the dots started to connect about it. And then John Keel, so he's the writer of the Mothman prophecies. He came up with the term Men in Black, which is what they have been referred to ever since. So that's why we call them the Men in Black, which I thought was pretty cool.
Interesting.
And then there's like, I don't know, I can't remember the like where this photo is from, but it makes me feel like a 90s album cover, and I love it.
It does, yeah.
Like,
that song Blue by Eiffel 65, or
yep.
I think that's the band name. This could just be their album cover.
It could. If you didn't listen to that at least 60 times when you were 7 years old, then I don't know what to say. Because that was fire.
That's one of my go-to karaoke songs. So good.
That's amazing. Oh, that's such a good one too.
Mm-hmm.
Oh, man, mine's is just tequila because I can't sing and then I just have to say one word.
Just gotta say one word.
So, what are the Men in Black, or who are they? So, there are a bunch of different speculations, and here are some of the really popular ones. So, one is that they are actually cyborgs that have been programmed and sent to Earth to shut down any alien evidence people may encounter. And then the next one is, like every unknown creature we can't explain, the Catholics have a description for them, and surprise, surprise, demons. So many reports of people who have encountered the Men in Black said that they felt they encountered the devil, and this can be due to the psychological trauma that they faced. I don't know why I wrote drama. It can be because in past lore and many books, like the Scarlet Letter, they had a euphemism for Satan, which was the black man. And since the Men in Black are wearing black from head to toe, the comparison makes sense for very religious folks. So there the Christians go again.
There we go.
There they go. People are probably like, wow, Kimmy really drags Catholics a lot. And then they see my house and they're like, is she super into it? I'm like, yeah, I can admit fault in history on my part. Okay. And then traditionally and finally the most popular one is that they are a government agency and they're used as a source of damage control. These government agents can be people trained to handle these situations, but it's also suggested that they are aliens, and they have been compared to the gray alien race, and that's due to their odd behavior and their slightly off-putting appearance. So regardless of what the Men in Black are, it is clear they have a connection to the unknown. There have been many sightings of them, but some of the most notable was them showing up to question eyewitnesses after the Mothman and Dover Demon sightings. So that's a little bit about who they are and where they are from. And then this picture that you just changed it to, it's one of like the most popular. I know it's been like on a bunch of things where they have like debunked it, but this is Aloreing, where we like to talk about the unknown and the folklore and the fun parts. So we're going to pretend it's real here, and I'm not going to care if it's fake, because that's how we do it. And now I got 3 sightings for you about these very professional Slendy boys. Are you ready?
Oh, yeah.
Okay. So I want to start with the sighting that took place on June 27th in 1947. It's not the first sighting, but it is the most famous of... I apologize. It is not the first sighting, but it is the most famous one. So if my dates for sightings aren't chronological this time, that's why. So on this date, Harold Dahl, his son, and his dog were on a conservation mission on the Puget Sound near the sea stream shore of Washington's Murray Island. Wow, I'm struggling today. I was doing so great earlier.
Puget Sound.
Oh, Puget Sound is what I actually said, and no one heard anything else. Anyway, so Harold was gathering logs when he saw 6 donut-shaped obstacles hovering about half a mile above the boat. Then, suddenly, one of them fell about 1,500 feet from the air, having it rain metallic debris as it fell. And then some of it hit Dow's son, some of it hit his arm, and sadly, it hit the family dog and killed it. So that broke my heart, and we're just going to keep going because that makes me sad. And
R.I.P. the dog, but of all the shapes they could have used to describe, why a donut? There's so
Maybe they were hungry. Maybe they were
There's so
hungry.
many round shapes that they could have gone with.
Well, what would you have described it at? What's like the first thing you would think of?
Like a saucer. I feel
Okay.
like this flying saucer. That's like the go-to. A bagel, perhaps. if we're going food shapes. A pizza pie.
I couldn't think of any, and you were like, "Listen, I have a list. I'm ready for this question." Well, so after seeing these donut or bagel or pizza-shaped objects flying in the sky, he was a little shooketh, right? So the next morning... Oh, sorry, I skipped it. I'm all over the place today, you guys. I don't know why. I think it's just because we're recording really late and my brain's just not emotionally here for it. Woo! Okay, so Dow took some photos of the aircraft, Smart, and when he got back to the land, he showed his supervisor, Fred, the photos. Now, Fred was skeptical and didn't believe it. So it's like when you're sick and you're dying and you call your boss to tell your boss, "Hey, I am dying. Do you hear my dying voice?" And they are like, "You can still come in, though." That's what this energy that they have together is.
I'm not gonna make it in today. Oh,
God. I'm so glad my days of retail are over. Because I can't. Not anymore. If you guys are doing retail, this episode's a shout out to you. It gets better, I promise. They're the real heroes. So, the next morning, Dow was visited by a man in a black suit. They went to a local diner where the man was able to explain in extraordinary detail what he experienced. So the man in black was explaining in detail what happened to Dow. And like he was asking like really specific questions, like were they like 1,500 feet above the water? Were they donut bagel shaped, pizza shaped things, right? And he said it was super unsettling because he knew all this stuff and he didn't even tell him about it, right? And the most unsettling part was after the man explained all these events to Dal, he said,
What I have said is proof that you and I know a great deal more about the existence and experiences of yours than you will want to believe.
And the man warned Dal to not discuss his alleged UFO sightings, and if he did bad things would happen to him and his family. But Dal was like, fuck you, and became public with what happened. And once it was out, the US government investigation deemed it as a hoax.
So the real life Men in Black don't have those little like flash pen things from the movie Men in Black that just make the people forget.
Hollywood's got to embellish something to make it fun. Yeah, there was some like stories about people that they would like erase the minds of, but it was people that were like abducted versus people that just saw stuff. And I think it's because at this time, like, who's going to believe you, you know? But now it's like in a, the stories in a bunch of books. Then you're crazy. And people have such a lot of people have such a fear of being called insane that they won't come out with the truth. I can't there's like a word, there's a term for it where you would rather keep it to yourself than seem insane. But I don't know. I think people think I'm crazy already, so I kind of just don't care. But
we do have a folklore podcast.
I know. I was like, I think we're past the point of where we could have done a political one, and we're like, let's talk about spooky cryptids. That sounds delightful. We'll just make past Mothman. I was like, as long as we can make passive capitalism jokes throughout the whole thing, I think we'll be just fine.
It's a win-win situation.
100%. So I want to talk about this next sighting, which is the 1947 pilot sighting. It doesn't specifically say the Men in Black were involved, but there is a lot of rumors and suspicions that they were, which is what resulted in the outcome of this story. So it takes place June 24th in 1947. Kenneth Arnold, a pilot flying near Mount Rainier, Washington, had reported seeing a flying saucer. Wanting someone to validate what he saw, he reached out to 2 Army A-2 intelligence officers. Then, in July, these 2 officers came to investigate. After a day of investigation, they left in their B-25. But, tragically, the plane would never make it back to Arnold, for it mysteriously caught on fire and crashed. So, sadly, the 2 officers passed away as a result, and there was no one to back up Arnold's case. Which was like, And I wish I linked, there was like another sighting like this, but it got traction, because like for some reason, this was like recently, and we were talking about it on our Patreon episode, but there was the video footage of like the UFO that the news stations were posting that like the one time it was crazy, but it was like this, it felt like the same energy of this story that I was reading as to that. Like it was very, it felt very like it got out and they didn't want it out and they couldn't backtrack it because it was a video, but they had the opportunity to shut down, if that makes sense.
This one that just came out, I was just reading this morning, because this month they're supposed to like release all their UFO information, but I read an article and it's literally the government's like, yeah, but there's no aliens. It's like, of course you're gonna say that. Like, they're like, I think they explained that video as like the light reflecting off the plane made it look like it was moving faster or something like that. And I'm like, okay, Mr. Government.
Oh my gosh. We're gonna have the Men in Black showing up at our houses. I know. I'll be like, delightful. I just need another Slender Man figure to appear in my life. This is a great week for me.
That'll be your That'll be your story next week. It's like, so this guy in a suit showed up in my house.
I was like, listen, we're 3 for 3, you guys. I don't know like how to sage this out.
Turns out it was my Bulbasaur plush.
I apparently have 4 of them now, and they're like 6 feet tall. Crazy,
Stacked on top
right?
of each other, wearing suits. It was wild, yeah.
And it moved just like a little kid in a suit too. It was fascinating. They're probably listening to this right now, and they're like, "Nah, this bitch is crazy. We don't gotta worry about this."
Oh, for sure. That's fine.
That's so
They'll
great.
call us all crazy.
They'll call us all crazy. Just twitch your eye as they open the door to investigate and interrogate you, and talk in a little bit of a gravelly voice, and then we're fine.
Exactly.
Okay.
Yeah.
So I have one last one of these the Bulbasaurs that will appear at my door. So the next sighting takes place in the mid 1950s. So Albert Bender, a UFOologist, claims he was visited by the men in dark suits who threatened and warned him to stop investigating UFOs. Bender describes these 3 men as the following. Do you want to do this? Do you have like a old guy voice you can do so we're not doing Bernie 2 days in a row?
Is this an old guy, or is he like an old you're like an old school newsman? They floated about a foot off the floor, looked like clergymen, but wore hats similar to Hamburg style. The faces were not clearly discernible, but the hat party hid and shaded them. The eyes of all 3 figures suddenly lit up like flashing light bulbs. They seemed to burn to my very soul as the pain above my eyes became almost unbearable.
We have to do everything in news timing voices from this point forward. Oh my god, I love it. Oh, so late UFOologist John Keeler had also claimed to have an encounter with the men in black and referred to them as demonic supernatural beings with dark skin and or exotic facial features, which just sounds a little racist to me, but hey, that's why he had the old-timey...
A little bit, yeah.
Yeah, I was like, you could just say he looks like an alien. You don't have to be like that. Anyway, so according to UFOologist German Clark, reports of the men in black represented experiences that don't seem to have occurred in the world of conscious reality. Ooh. So that's the men in black.
Say.
That's what they all say. So anyway, so that was my Men in Black story this week. A little bit of spooky. Yeah. And then
not quite the Will Smith Men in Black that I was expecting.
No, just very peculiar human beings. Yeah, Will's definitely got a charm to him that the Men in Black do not have a charm. He would be like the poster boy. True. Is a really good way for it, you know?
Yeah.
But, so you guys all know, as a quick reminder, if you want to create some type of art inspired by this creature or the one Ryan's going to talk about, check out our Instagram for our episode drawing prompts. We want to see your Aloreing creations, and if not, it's just a fun art prompt to inspire you to create. So now let's hear a quick word from our sponsors. Welcome back, Ryan. Great ads, like always.
Yeah, those were fantastic. So my story started in one place and ended up somewhere very different. So I was going to talk about the Gray Men, who are just basically aliens, but then I just went down a rabbit hole. So into a specific story of abduction. But we're going to give a little background on UFOs in the United States before we start.
Ooh. I like how your show notes are like typewriter-y. That's like super unsettling and fitting for this tale. Just as a quick tangent.
Courier New, easiest font to read in the world. Ugh. So picture this, Kimmy. It's July 4th, 1947, and the United States Army Air Force has a balloon, this is me doing air quotes, crash at a ranch near Roswell, New Mexico, sparking off one of the largest conspiracy theories our nation has ever seen. The folks of Roswell insist that there's no way this was simply a weather balloon. So, let me change slides here. So here's the kicker. The Roswell Army Field issued a press release stating that they had recovered a flying disc from a ranch near Roswell, and then quickly retracted the statement and instead said that it was merely a conventional weather balloon. So the story's already changed twice. It went from a weather balloon to a disc, back to a weather balloon. But then in the 70s, so this is 20-something odd years later, a retired colonel who was stationed in Roswell admitted the weather balloon was a cover story, but he wouldn't say what they were covering. And in 1994, to cover up the cover-up, the U.S. government instead said that what had crashed was a balloon from Project Mogul, a long-range surveillance technology, basically just a floating microphone to spy on people. So they can't keep their stories straight. And they said that the alien bodies that were seen were just test dummies that they put up in this balloon to see how the impact would affect a person. So this brings us to UFOs in America.
I holy shit.
Sorry, I just threw a lot at you all at once.
Wow. Yeah. The amount of cover up that just happened, it's like when you catch a person cheating on you and they keep changing their story, or like when you listen to like a crime case and the person did it. It's the one person did it, you know they did it, and they keep changing their story. That's wild. Oh my goodness. I do not like bodies falling though. That is very unsettling to me.
Well, don't worry. They were test dummies.
Wink, wink. Oh, that's even better. Little puppets falling from the sky. It's like the devil's getting a little too fucking creative. He's like, I know what these people need. Some dropping dummies. No, I don't like that. I really don't like that. I would freak out if it was alien, human, or stuffed. Nope. Anyway. Oh, sorry.
So that's the background on UFOs in America.
That's so crazy.
Now, we're going to need some background on just who's flying these UFOs. So,
you mean the air balloons, right?
Yeah. Oh, no. So, yeah, sorry. The air balloons for Project Mogul. So, according to witnesses that we will be talking about shortly, flying these air balloons are grays. And grays are typically depicted as gray-skinned humanoid beings that possess reduced forms or completely lack body parts. So like ears, nose, Voldemort, basically. Long bodies, skinny chests. Just like they're human, but not quite, you know? Short Slenderman. Yeah.
all this it's so
and of course, unusually large heads in proportion to their body. So kind of what Kimmy had described the Men in Black as previously. So yeah, that's the Greys. So with all this information, today I would like to tell you the story of Barney and Betty Hill, who were abducted by aliens. And buckle in. This is a long one.
Zip, click.
Get some water.
I was like, you may want to take a second to hydrate. I haven't been interrupting because I'm so fucking fascinated by this.
All right. The year is 1961. The Hills were driving back to Portsmouth from a vacation at the Niagara Falls, just south of Lancaster, New Hampshire. Betty claimed to have observed a bright point of light in the sky that moved from below the moon upward to the west of the moon. So she saw the moon, a little thing of light went shoo, straight away.
Oh, okay.
Uh-huh.
Weird, because that doesn't make sense with how planets line up in this night sky. Interesting. Okay, anyway.
Yeah. And shooting stars don't go upwards. So while Barney was driving, Betty reasoned, it was just a shooting star going upwards. But as she watched it, it grew bigger and brighter, and Betty urged Barney to stop the car for a closer look, as well as walk their dog, because of course it's an alien story. There's always a dog. So they stopped at a picnic area. They stopped at a picnic area just south of the Twin Mountains. Betty, looking through her binoculars, observed an odd-shaped craft, perhaps donut-shaped.
Or pizza,
flashing,
or bagel.
Or pizza, bagel. We're not quite sure. An odd-shaped craft flashing multicolored lights traveling across the face of the moon. Because her sister had several years earlier told her she had seen a flying saucer, Betty thought maybe that's what she was observing.
Is the dog freaking out? Or is the dog just pissing? Like, chilling?
I think the dog's just vibing at this point.
Okay.
And I forgot to do the slides. These are gray men.
Ooh.
This is the lovely couple, including their
so
little
cute.
doggo.
Oh, it's a duchess! Look at the little legs. Oh, I'm in love. Okay, they are adorable. I love seeing the cute couples. That always makes my heart so happy.
Barney observed what he reasoned was a commercial airline traveling towards Vermont on its way to Montreal. However, he quickly changed his mind because without looking, as if it had turned, the craft rapidly descended in his direction. This observation caused Barney to realize this object was not a plane. They quickly returned to the car and drove. They just got out of there.
Good.
So approximately, they tried. Approximately 1 mile south, they said the object rapidly descended towards their vehicle, causing Barney to stop in the middle of the highway. A huge silent craft hovered approximately 100 feet above them. It was described by Barney as a huge pancake. So there's there's the description.
All the food references.
Mm-hmm. Carrying his pistol in his pocket, he stepped away from the vehicle and moved closer to the object. Using the binoculars, Barney claimed to have seen about 8 to 11 humanoid figures who were peering out the craft's window, seeming to look at him. In unison, all but one figure moved to what appeared to be the panel on the rear wall that encircled the front portion of the craft.
No. I'm sorry. First of all, fucking kudos. The fact that he has the balls to get out of his car with a gun. Like, he loves that woman.
I'm going to take out this plane. Yeah.
Because I've been like, let us dip. Like, let's just keep going. Like, I can't fight. I can, like, make it feel really insecure about something for the rest of its life, but I can't physically do damage. Oh.
So the one remaining figure continued to look at Barney and communicated a message telepathically to tell him, stay where you are and keep looking. Barney had a recollection of observing the humanoid form wearing a glossy black uniform and a black cape, which is a sick outfit. Red lights on what appeared to be a bat wing fin began to come out of the side of the craft. A long structure descended from the bottom of the craft. The silent craft approached what Barney estimated was 50 feet overhead and 300 feet away from him.
I was
ran back
really
to his
like
car.
waiting for it I was waiting for you to like say like RuPaul's Drag Race music started playing and he had heels on and stuff because you explained the lights and then you said
And they
silence
came
and I
out
was
and
like,
then they asleep.
And it's like, work it, girl. Put that step in your walk. They just all start straight down. Oh, I'm so scared. I'm trying to make this lighthearted for my brain. Oh,
So
okay.
naturally,
And-
Barney ran back to his car in a near hysterical state and told Betty, "They're going to capture us." He saw the object again shift its location to directly above the vehicle, so he floored it and got out of there, telling Betty,
Good.
keep an eye on it. So Betty rolled down her window and decided to look up. And immediately, the Hills heard a rhythmic series of beeping and buzzing sounds, which they said seemed to bounce off the truck of their vehicle. The car vibrated and tingled, and a tingling sensation passed through the Hills' bodies. The Hills said that their
no.
The Hills said that they then experienced the onset of an altered state of consciousness and left their minds dulled.
Oh my god. I'm so stressed. This is so fucking crazy. I was trying to imagine like the rhythmic series of beeping and buzzing sounds being RuPaul singing a song.
Sounded a lot like Darude Sandstorm for some reason.
You're like, actually, it was
then-
specifically this one.
It was boo-da-boo-da-boo. And that's all we can do without getting copyrighted. The second series of beeping or buzzing sounds returned the couple to full consciousness. They found that they had traveled nearly 35 miles south, but had only a vague, spotty memory of this section of the road. They recalled making a sudden, sharp, unplanned turn, encountering a roadblock, and observing a fiery orb in the road. So, the beeping started. Next thing they knew, they were 35 miles down the road.
Oh my gosh.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh. Woo! Okay. I need a drink.
We're just getting
One
started,
day.
baby.
Oh, I should have
Arriving
poured
home at
liquor.
about dawn. Yeah, you should have. Arriving home at about dawn, the Hills assert that they had some odd sensations and impulses they could not readily explain. Betty insisted their luggage be kept near the back door rather than in the main part of the house. Their watches would never work again. Barney said that the leather strap from his binoculars were torn, though he could not recall it tearing. The toes of his best dress shoes were scraped, and he was... I'm going to skip that. And they took long showers to remove possible contamination and drew a picture of what they had observed.
He checked his
could not
privates,
find
everybody.
the picture.
He felt
yeah, he
off
also
about it.
he checked his dingling. Yeah. 10 days after the alleged UFO encounter, Betty began having a series of vivid dreams. They continued for 5 successive nights, never in her memory, but she recalled dreams in such detail and intensity. But they stopped abruptly after 5 nights and never returned. They occupied her thoughts during the day when she mentioned them to Barney. He was sympathetic but not too concerned, and the matter was dropped. Betty did not mention them to Barney again. So, yeah, so they got back. Long story short, they got back. They just felt weird, and Betty started having these crazy dreams that we're going to go into.
Everyone needs a dream journal.
Exactly.
Get yourself a dream journal.
Especially when you believe you've been abducted by aliens.
Definitely. And you could get one of our alien stickers on our shop and you can put it right
There you
on
go.
the front of it. And that is your alien abduction dream journal. Okay.
In November 1961, Betty began writing down the details of her dream. In one dream, she and Barney encountered a roadblock and the men who surrounded their car. She lost consciousness but struggled to regain it. She then realized that she was being forced by 2 small men to walk into the forest at night. And seeing Barney walking behind her, thought she could call to him. He seemed to be in a trance-like state or sleepwalking. The men stood about 5 feet to 5 feet 4 inches tall and wore matching blue uniforms with capes similar to those worn by military cadets. So I'm not sure what military cadets were wearing in the 1960s, but that's what aliens wear apparently.
When you time
They
travel, but
appeared-
you get the apparel wrong.
Yeah. They appeared nearly human with black hair, dark eyes, prominent noses, blush lips, and their skin was a grayish color. Sounds awfully similar to Men in Black.
Yeah,
In
I
the
was like, they
dream-
sound more like the Men in Black because they have like the nose, weird.
Yeah.
Okay.
Yeah, prominent noses, so these are a little different. In the dream, Betty and Barney, and the men walked up the ramp into the disc-shaped craft of metallic appearance. Once inside, Barney and Betty were separated. She protested and was told by a man they called the leader that if she and Barney were examined together, it would take much longer to conduct the exams, so she and Barney were taken to separate rooms. Betty then dreamt that a new man, similar to the others, entered to conduct the exam with the leader. Betty called this new man the examiner and said he had a pleasant, calm manner. Though the leader and the examiner spoke to her in English, the examiner's commands of the language seemed imperfect and she had difficulty understanding him. The examiner told Betty that he would conduct a few tests to note the difference between humans and the craft's occupants. He seated her on a chair, and a bright light was shone on her. The man cut off locks of Betty's hair, examined her eyes, ears, mouth, teeth, throat, hands, the whole shebang, and saved trimmings from her fingernails. After examining her legs and feet, the man used a dull knife similar to a letter opener to scrape some of her skin into what resembled cellophane. He then tested her nervous system and thrust the needle into her navel, which caused Betty agonizing pain, understandably, whereupon the leader waved his hand in front of her eyes and the pain vanished. So she got probed.
Yeah. It's like it's so weird because I think like the worst part of these is whenever people get like examined or stuff, it seems like they're like oddly consensual about it, but in like the process of them getting their minds erased and stuff, they don't feel like they were. So they're like fighting internally with that. And that's what I don't like. Cause like they always seem pretty chill. Like they're just here. They're like, oh, let's take a little and peace out.
Yeah,
you know?
she's like, oh, this is normal. Yeah. Exactly.
Weird. Okay.
So the examiner then left the room, and Betty engaged in conversation with the leader. She picked up a book with rows of strange symbols that the leader said she could take home with her. She also asked from where he came, and he pulled down an instructional map dotted with stars. In Betty's dream account, the men began escorting the hills from the ship when a disagreement broke out. The leader then informed Betty that she couldn't keep the book, stating that they had decided that the other men did not want her to even remember the encounter. Betty insisted that no matter what they did to her memory, she would one day recall the events. And clearly she did. And that's when Barney was taken to their car, where the leader suggested that they wait and watch the craft's departure. And they did, and resumed their drive. And then that's when they became conscious again.
Oh my god, I hate it.
So that's the story of the Hills abduction.
It's just like I was saying, it's so weird because good 90% of the time, it seems like a very consensual thing that's happening. Like, the chasing's fucking terrifying, and, like, if you're being chased and someone's like, I just need to do this real quick, you'll be, like, survival mode. You're like, okay, whatever it takes to survive kind of thing, right? But, like, I just scared myself because behind me, the speakers and the little plushie on top of the speakers, so the thing looked like a person. I'm just gonna cover that because that just like
you scared just get rid of all the plushies out of your house.
Oh, I was like, I'm going to die, Ryan. It was so fucking terrifying. See how I like acted calm on the outside, but I was losing it on the inside, trying to process what it was, because that's how my brain functions. Anyway, I'm covering it now. I'm emotionally somewhat fine. It's okay. But it's just weird because it's always like such a consensual thing. And then it seems like them getting their mind erased and them forcing themselves to try to remember is what causes the like inner conflict with what happened, and was it bad, was it good, like
Yeah.
trying to like discover it is like the worst part, you know?
Yeah. And clearly the aliens fucked up because she wasn't supposed to remember any of this, but then she did. I
It
just
was
want
someone's
to
first
know
day.
the dog's perspective.
That is 100% fair.
Yeah, she didn't mention that the dog went into the ship, so the dog was just chilling in the car watching his humans wander off into the woods.
You know, that's a really fair thing to think about, because I'm a big like take a dog with you person, because when you dismiss your gut because you're so scared and you want to be rational, the dog is there like, fuck no. Like, I don't care what you think, I don't care what your gut thinks.
Trust the dog.
Trust the dog. That's what we need on a shirt, is something that says take a dog with you or trust the dog or something, because always I don't know, that dog probably has some good old wise tale about it. Talks in like a little southern voice.
You can see it in his eyes. Like, look at him. That dog has seen some stuff.
Here's a fun little last question. Do you think there's dog aliens that test dogs of our planet? Like, the Greys are kind of like human. Do you think there's like gray dogs?
Yeah. The Greys brought their own dog, and like when they abducted the Hills, they just also gave the dog to their dog. It was like, I don't know what you want to do with this, but here you go.
They just sniff each other's butts, and like that's enough for them, and then they go back to
they just like played fetch for 30 minutes and then went back to the car.
Oh, well, that's okay. Anyway, now that I'm spooked, we'll do one little announcement thing for you guys before we do our Aloreing alignment chart. Just one little thing. So before we end with it, please don't forget to check out the Aloreing Fund Drive, everyone. You should join. You guys should really join. So by becoming a Patreon, it means you'll get some exclusive prizes, and it's only if you join by the end of July. It really means a lot. We want it to go to the end of the July. We want to have you guys be part. We want to have your support. It just means so much, and you'll get a bunch of goodies. And what you receive will depend on what tier you become a Patreon at. Plus, you'll get access to all the behind-the-scenes content on Patreon and bonus episodes of Liquor and Lore not posted anywhere else.
And not only that, but and not only do you get prizes, but you're supporting the show. You guys have been awesome, and the funding we've got has allowed us to focus more on creating content than working some odd jobs to help pay the podcast fees, such as hosting, web hosting, editing software, very expensive, and more. And it really means so much.
It really does. So please become a Patreon today. It would really mean the world for us. You can join at the $3 tier, and you can stay just for a month, or you can stay for longer, and we would really appreciate it. So go to patreon.com/Aloreing and become one today, and you'll get some special goodies. You'll get some stickers, some goodies, and gifts made with love. What could you possibly ask for? What more could you ask for?
Yeah, what more?
Oh, okay.
So let's check out that alignment chart.
Yeah. Oh, I am so spooked. I gotta keep covering that speaker in the background. I'm gonna have to fucking fix that for the next recording. I did the Men in Black as pure neutral lawful because I felt that was right. Like, they strictly followed their law, like whatever their rules are of covering things up, and they're very in the middle about it. Like, they're not going to be evil or they're not going to be good about it. They just get what they need to done and then they leave, kind of thing. Someone about, I don't know. I think that fits them.
Yeah, I think that's completely accurate. I put the gray men, specifically the ones that abducted the hills, um, almost chaotic neutral, but I put them a little to the left just because it's not cool to abduct people, but they're just doing it to like test people out. Like they're so yeah. I
Yeah, it's
think
like
they're
if
just
you.
like messing with people.
Yeah, it's like if you kidnap a person, but then you're nice to that person you kidnap. That doesn't make it better.
Yeah.
Because
Because
you
originally
still
I
did
had
it.
them up in
That's
like
bad.
lawful evil, but I was like, I don't think it's very lawful to kidnap people, even if it's for like scientific research. So they're just kidnapping people for scientific research, which is pretty chaotic to me.
Yeah, no. So
But good or
your
evil,
take.
that's relative.
Yeah, because what could be good to them in their realm of reality, right? It's different to
Yep,
us, but we're not
exactly.
getting that deep. Well, takeaways, always take a dog with you. And
Yep.
something about Slendy Man boys.
Watch
Please
for
watch out for
flying
them.
donuts.
Watch for flying donuts.
If
Send us your flying donut
if
pictures,
you
please.
see, yeah, let us know what food you would describe flying saucers as, because we've heard today multiple. We've heard pizza, we've heard donuts, and I don't know, pancake. The Hills called it a
Pancake.
pancake. So let us know what you think a UFO would look like.
Tweet us. Tweet us your UFO description. we would absolutely love that. That would be so freaking great. Well,
Alrighty.
thank you guys so much for listening. This has been Aloreing.
Have an alluring day, and we'll catch you in the next episode.
Bye.
Thank you for listening to Aloreing. Music by Lane Hammonds. Special thanks to Alex Higgins for help with our audio this season. Check out his podcast, What Happened in Vegas, available on all platforms. Check out our website and blog at aloreing.com. That's ALOREING.com. If you have questions, folklore, cryptid sightings, or urban legends you would like us to discuss, email us at aloreing@gmail.com. If you liked this show, please rate, review, and subscribe on Apple Podcast. It's the best way to help support us and spread the word. Another way to show your support and have access to bonus content not posted anywhere else, visit our Patreon page today. All links are available on our website and Instagram.